Stop trying to fix your emptiness by buying more stuff. That's not why you feel empty. What if I told you? The real reason has nothing to do with what's missing from your life. The real reason is about what you're running away from. You have friends. You have a job. You might even have hobbies you like. On paper, your life looks good. But inside, there's this weird, empty feeling that won't go away. And the worst part? You can't explain it. You're doing everything right. You're checking all the boxes. So why does it still feel like something's missing? Today, we're going to talk about a hidden reason that might be causing this emptiness. And more important, how to actually fix it. Here's what's really happening. You wake up tired, even though you slept 8 hours. You tell your friends you're busy when really you just don't want to hang out. You make plans for later but never feel excited about right now. You scroll through your phone for hours because it's easier than thinking about your problems. And deep down, you know something's wrong, but you can't figure out what it is. This isn't being lazy. This isn't just being tired. This is something brain doctors call covert avoidance. And it's way more common than you think, especially if you grew up in a home where things weren't stable. Let me explain what this means. Covert avoidance is when you're running away from your own life, but you're doing it in ways that look totally normal to other people. Nobody can tell you're avoiding anything. Sometimes, even you can't tell. You're still showing up. You're still doing your daily stuff, but on the inside, you've checked out. Anna Runkle runs a mental health blog called The Crappy Childhood Fairy. She says this happens a lot to people who had hard childhoods. Maybe you dealt with being ignored. Maybe there was abuse. Maybe your parents just weren't there for you emotionally. Whatever it was, you learned early that getting close to people was dangerous. Caring too much about things was dangerous. So you built walls. You learned to keep everything far away. And those walls are still up today. The problem is those walls that kept you safe as a kid are now keeping you stuck. You're living your life from the outside looking in. You're pretending everything's fine when it's not. And that's why you feel empty. You're not actually living. You're just getting by. Here's the tricky part. When you're covertly avoiding, you're not sitting in your room refusing to go outside. You're actually doing stuff. You're working. You're hanging out with people. You're getting things done. But none of it feels real. None of it touches that deep part of you that's still scared and hurt. And that's exactly the point. You're keeping busy so you don't have to feel anything. So what does covert avoidance actually look like in real life? Let me give you some examples. I bet you'll see at least one of these in yourself. First, you're tired all the time. But here's the thing. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because avoiding your feelings takes a ton of energy. And when people tell you healthy stuff, like go to bed earlier or work out, you just can't make yourself do it. Not because you're lazy, but because taking care of yourself means being present in your body. And that's exactly what you're trying to avoid. Second, you keep everyone far away. You say you're too busy to meet up. You cancel plans at the last minute. You respond to texts 3 days late. And when someone tries to get close to you, you suddenly need a week alone to recharge. This isn't being introverted. This is fear. You're scared that if you let people in, they'll hurt you or leave you, just like what happened when you were younger. Third, you have these unhealthy ways to escape. Maybe it's drinking too much on weekends. Maybe it's staying out all night partying. Maybe it's watching shows until 3 in the morning. Maybe it's online shopping or gambling or random hookups. These things give you quick relief from the bad feelings you're carrying around, but they're not actually fixing anything. They're just numbing you out. Fourth, you put everything off, even the good stuff. Your friend invites you to a party and you want to go, but you wait until the last minute to respond. And then, somehow you just don't make it. Someone asks you to work on a cool project, and you say yes, but then you put it off until the chance is gone. This happens because deep down, you're scared. You're scared of being let down. You're scared of failing. You're scared of caring about something and then losing it. Fifth, you're always chasing the next thing. You tell yourself that once you get that better job, then you'll be happy. Once you move to a new city, then you'll feel good. Once you find the right relationship, then everything will work out. But here's what happens. You get that better job, and the emptiness is still there. You move, and nothing changes. You find someone great, and you still feel disconnected because you're not actually dealing with the real problem. You're just running from it. Let me tell you why this happens. Licensed therapist Matthew Boone And Dr. Jennifer Gregg explain it like this. When you went through bad stuff as a kid, you learned that feelings are dangerous. Getting attached to people is dangerous. Being open is dangerous. So your brain learned these covert avoidance behaviors to keep you safe from those feelings. And they worked. They kept you safe back then. But now these behaviors are keeping you stuck. You can't build a good life while you're running away from your feelings. You can't form deep friendships while you're keeping everyone far away. You can't feel happy while you're always chasing the next thing instead of being present with what's right in front of you. The really messed up part is the more you avoid, the worse it gets. Your life gets smaller and smaller. Your world shrinks, and that emptiness just grows bigger because avoiding doesn't make the feelings go away. It just pushes them down where they sit and gets worse, and they slowly eat away at you from the inside. Think about it like this. Picture yourself carrying a backpack full of rocks. These rocks are all your old feelings from childhood that you never dealt with. The fear, the hurt, the shame, the loneliness. Covert avoidance is like trying to pretend the backpack isn't there. You tell yourself it doesn't exist. You keep yourself so busy and distracted that you don't notice the weight. But the backpack is still there, and it's still heavy, and it's still making you tired. The only way to actually feel lighter is to take the backpack off and deal with what's inside it. Here's the truth. You can't avoid your way to happiness. You can't distract yourself into feeling whole, and you definitely can't keep running forever. At some point, you're gonna have to stop and face what you've been avoiding. I know that's scary. I know it feels impossible, but it's the only way through. So, how do you actually beat covert avoidance? Let's talk about real ways to fix this. Not just feel-good advice that sounds nice but doesn't actually help. First, you need to see your patterns. This is the hardest part because covert avoidance is hidden. So you need to start paying attention. When do you pull away from people? What situations make you want to numb out? What feelings are you trying to avoid? Write this stuff down. Keep a journal. Notice the patterns because you can't change what you don't see. Second, do something different. This sounds simple, but it's actually really hard. The next time you feel like avoiding something, do the opposite. If you want to cancel plans, go anyway. If you want to scroll on your phone to avoid your thoughts, sit with those thoughts instead. If you want to keep someone far away, let them in a little bit. Start small. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just make one different choice. Dr. Elizabeth Scott calls this active coping. Instead of avoiding problems, you deal with them directly. And this can happen in two ways. Through your actions, where you actually do something about the problem, or through your thoughts, where you change how you're looking at the situation, and you work through the emotions that come up. Here's what this looks like in real life. Let's say you feel worried about a friendship. You think the person doesn't really like you. Avoiding would be ghosting them, or keeping them far away. Active coping would be either talking to them about it, that's doing something, or thinking about where this fear comes from, and whether it's actually true, that's changing your thoughts. Both ways deal with the problem instead of running from it. Third, learn to sit with bad feelings. This is the big one. The reason you avoid stuff is because bad feelings come up and you don't know how to handle them, so you run. But here's the thing about feelings. They're not actually dangerous. They just feel dangerous because when you were a kid, you didn't have the tools to deal with them. But you're not a kid anymore. You're an adult and you can handle more than you think. Next time you feel anxious or sad or scared or whatever, just sit with it. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to make it go away. Just notice it. Where do you feel it in your body? What does it feel like? What thoughts come up? And here's what you'll find out. The feeling doesn't actually destroy you. It comes, it gets stronger, and then it goes away, just like a wave. And the more you practice sitting with your feelings, the less scary they become. Fourth, get help if you need it. There's no shame in talking to a therapist or counselor, especially if you're dealing with bad stuff from childhood. Working with a professional can make a huge difference. They can help you work through stuff you've been carrying around for years. They can teach you better ways to cope, and they can give you support while you do this hard work of facing your avoidance. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. Beating covert avoidance is hard. It's uncomfortable. It takes time. There's no quick fix or magic trick that makes the emptiness go away overnight. But here's what I can tell you. It's possible, and it's worth it. Because right now, you're living half a life. You're going through the motions, but you're not really present. You're keeping yourself safe from pain, but you're also blocking out joy. You're staying safe, but you're also staying stuck. And that's no way to live. The emptiness you feel isn't because something's wrong with you. It's because you've been avoiding the very things that would make you feel whole. Real friendships with people. Real work that matters to you. Being present in your own life instead of always looking for the exit. Dr. Janice Webb says the longer you stay stuck in avoidance, the more power it has over you. And she's right. Every day you put this off is another day you're not really living. Another day you are letting fear control your choices. Another day you're picking safety over growth. But here's the good news. You can start changing today, right now. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be brave all at once. You just have to take one small step in a different direction. Say yes to plans, even though you want to cancel. Sit with a bad feeling for 5 minutes. Tell someone how you really feel instead of saying you're fine. These tiny choices add up, and after a while, your life starts to feel different. Not perfect, not without struggle, but real, genuine, yours. And that feeling of emptiness starts to go away because you're finally filling it with the right things. Not distractions, not achievements, not stuff, but real friendships, real emotion, and the courage to be open. You matter, your feelings matter, and you deserve to live a life that feels full instead of empty. So stop running, stop avoiding, stop pretending everything's fine when it's not. Face what you've been hiding from, feel what you've been afraid to feel, and watch how your life changes when you finally show up for it. If this helped, the next video will help even more.